Session is on advances in pulses research by Dr. N.P. Singh, Director, India Institute of Narendra Pratap Singh, Director of Indian Institute of Pulses Research, IIPR, is also the President of the Indian Society of Pulses Research and Development. He was instrumental in creating world-class state-of-the-art facilities for biotechnology at IIPR and pioneered the application of biotechnology tools for pulse improvement in India. Dr. Singh has a master's in genetics and plant breeding from ND University of Agriculture and Technology, Faizabad, and a PhD in genetics from the Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi. He also served as visiting scientist at WA Biotechnology Centre, Murdoch University, Perth, and at the Plant Biotechnology Institute, Saskatoon. Dr. Singh has authored over 150 research and conference papers in national and international journals of repute and has served as a member of important national and international committees. Ladies and gentlemen, Director, Indian Institute of Pulses Research, Dr. N.P. Singh.
Good afternoon to all of you. I'm sorry that we wasted almost 2 minutes in arranging slides. Friends, you all know that I have been asked to talk on advances in pulse research and what is our roadmap for increasing domestic pulse production. So first I would like to give a background where we are, where we need to go, and what are the things that we are supposed to do. And if you just see why we need a pulsage, in the country, it's for not only nutritional security, it's also for a very sustainable production system in a particular cropping system, and then ecological advantage that pulses do have because of the carbon sequestration and they add nitrogen into the soil. And besides this, they have a number of advantages. They are not only very rich in the protein, but they are also very rich source of different minerals. You see in the right side, and each pulses, has some specialty, in this particular context. And pulses in India, it's a kind of, indispensable, element in our component in our diet. They are not only used for food, but they are also very good feed and fodder. And at the same time, they have a lot of medicinal value, which we have come to know only in recent years. And they can be consumed, as a green parts. They can be consumed, as a whole grain, as a salad, soup, snacks, and many other things like sprouts, canned food. Then it can be used as a split, like what we make a dal, soup, and khichdi, and many other dosa, kebab, etc. And they're also used, many of the pulses like the chickpea, they are used as a flour. Almost, 60-65% is used as a flour. So because of this kind of advantage, they fit very well in our Indian diet. If we look at the total pulse scenario and we look at what are the crops they are grown, in a very large area and their production is very large, they are basically dry beans, and then it comes the chickpea, and followed by many crops like lentil, pea. So what we globally produce, basically in the same trend we do not consume in India. Our food habits are very different, in India. So most of the pulses that we consume, it's production at a global level and production at Indian context, it's very different. That is why when there is a less production in India, we have a problem is importing. And if you look at the major pulse producing countries, apart from India, it is the Myanmar in recent year has come very strongly. And then Brazil, China, and in recent years, the Russia and again, Ukraine are coming in a big way. So those latest data is not with me, but these are the new players, in the market. If you look at the Indian scenario, I have a data in 2019, just to equate the global data. And if you look at before 2009-10, our pulse production was, ranging somewhere between 14 to 15 million tons. Then we had two jumps. The one lead we have between 10 to 11 and between 15, 16, 5, 6 years. And there, we reached to somewhere, average up about 18 million tons. Then after 18 million tons, we had another jump, in last 4 years, and we added another 5 million tons, 4 to 5 million tons. Now, on average, if you see last 4 years, we are producing around 4 million tons. This has not happened only, increase in area. This has also happened due to increase in the productivity. And right side, I have given the data where the changes has taken place. If you look at the chickpea is almost growing at the 4.07, a kind of metric ton, a kind of increment that has come, in last 5 years or so. And so is the other crops. So there has been a good growth, in these crops over the year. And that is why, our import has gone down. And we were also slightly able to increase our export. And if we try to look at what are the crops that has really changed the entire scenario. I remember 2007-8 when the chickpea production in the country was about 5.5 million ton. Today we are producing more than 10 million tons. Almost, we have doubled the chickpea production in last about 7 to 10 years. And this has happened because that we have introduced, short duration variety, particularly in central southern India. So they are able to mitigate, the heat stress that occurs, in the terminal end. And most of the variety that we have, they have fusarium wilt resistance, one of the dreaded disease, that occurs in chickpea area where it is grown year after year. We also develop, a heat tolerant variety. And at the same time, we develop some extra large seeded variety like MNK1, PVK, Kabali, and Fuleji 517. And that was earlier considered that they cannot be bred in our country. And this has really opened, a kind of window for us to export, a kind of 9 to what we call 11 mm size, the chickpea, a very premium price that it gives to market. In the recent years, we have also come out with the variety that can be mechanically harvested because, in the pulses, they are poor competitors to cereals like wheat and rice because they are not amenable to mechanical harvesting. So now there is a move that how they can be mechanically harvested, So now we have that achievement, and these all have moved us, to an era that we can say today that what we need in chickpea, we are actually producing. So we are not short in chickpea as far as our domestic production is concerned. Then we can see that there are growth, in other crops as well. And we can see, the sector-wise, and then we say the states where we have really gained. If you look at the chickpea, slowly, it picked up in Andhra Pradesh, and it peaked somewhere, 2008 and 9. Later on, slightly declined because it becomes perhaps non-competitive to other crops. Crop which it replaced, has come again. And but it has picked up, in recent year in Madhya Pradesh. So what loss we had in Andhra Pradesh, now it is compensated in Madhya Pradesh. And really, there has been a tremendous growth in mung bean in Rajasthan. One of the reasons is that in Rajasthan, entire rain pattern has changed over the years. And now most of the area are getting more rain as compared to previous year. So the mung has replaced, a moth bean and cluster bean. Cluster bean because of, industrial crop is losing because gum, now artificial gum has come in the market. So the mung is one that is peaking, in Rajasthan. It's tremendous growth. And of course, pigeon pea is a very important crop in Maharashtra, and it is doing very well. So these are some silver lining states, where we have really gained. And if I try to analyze what we really require in this country, to feed our by domestic production, our population, and what are our future targets. We have tried to work out, our demand even by 2050, and we have taken a kind of ICMR recommendation that we need really 52 grams per capita per day of pulses, and current availability is about 47 grams. So we say that our current demand is about 28 million tons. So what we are producing is about 4 million ton less. And we do feel that in coming years, we need to go with much faster rate, almost, 1 million ton per year we have to increase. If we have really to catch up the market, by 2030, we need a 32 million tons, and long-term projection, if you see, we need about 39 million tons in 2050. So these are the kind of projection that we make, but there are many other things, happening, like, the use of, the meat and other, protein sources and increase. But after this COVID-19 pandemic, we see now the situation has become reverse. More and more people globally, they would like now to reach the pulses. So demand is going to be increased, in time to come. And you know much better, about import and export. I have nothing to do, but one thing I would like to tell, that the import value that went, even in 16, 17, about 28,000 crore. Now that has come down, in 1890 to about 8,000 crore. So almost 20,000 crore, we could save, because increasing our domestic production. Export also, if you look at the export, perhaps not much has changed, but there is a still change, in the total scenario. And we do feel that when our domestic production increase, automatically, it will increase our export, and at the same time, import will decrease. And what has happened, that we have added, a 10 million tons in last 10 years, particularly more so in last 5 years. This we level, as a pulse revolution. Because 12 million to 14 million ton production, it took almost 30 to 40 years to reach. But due to the, the government policies and, our research innovation, seed system innovation, these three, really triggered this increase in pulse production. So we have a technology, but the technology was upscaled. We brought a new variety into the seed chain, because we had a now new seed system in place, that public-private partnership through farmer participatory approach, we are able to enhance our quality seed production. Policy has been the major trigger, like MSP, a kind of procurement, then buffer stock, all these things, integrated market, all these, trigger to the increase in pulse productions. So more and more farmers now would like to grow the pulses. And if you see what approaches we had in the past, that one that we were able to push up our new high yielding variety with multiple stress. They were not high yielding, but they were more stable. This has only happened because we put up a ceiling of growing less than 10 years old variety, because they were incentivized. Subsidy was given, on seed. And then we had a matching agro technology. This matching agro technology has really enhanced the productivity because of the better agronomy. And we introduced, we gained additional area, mung bean, particularly in spring and summer, because we developed, early, the mung bean, which can be harvested, in 50 to 55 days. So Indo-Gangetic plain, particularly in summer, we gained the area. Even after potato, we gained some area, in spring. Early pigeon pea has been one new interventions, and now we see soybean wheat, we are able to substitute to some extent. And then cotton wheat system, it has entered. And we have also increased, our intercropping in both dry, rain-fed and dry areas, with the more intense, use of pulses, legumes. And again, the greening rice fellow has been, one of the major program of TAC. I hope Dr. Malhotra Sahab is listening. And because of that, again, we have gained, substantial area in the Eastern India, which used to remain, rice fallow. So now coming to the, a kind of varietal development we have, since inception of All India Coordinated Research Project, we have developed more than 770 varieties. But in recent years, we focus mainly our attention, to a very specific variety, that not only variety which is having higher yield, but variety which can go in a very specific niche. Like we develop a variety IPM 2-7, That is a pan-India variety, it can be grown anywhere in the country in any season. And it is very early. It 52 to 55 days, it can mature quickly. Now we have a biofortified variety of lentil that is very rich in iron and zinc. Now we have a hybrids, these hybrids have now 30 to 40% yield advantage for the variety, and we do hope these early hybrids will really diversify, rice wheat cropping systems, substitute some area in rice in the northwest plain zone. And we have now a green seeded, field pea variety. Now there is a very big demand, and I was told that it is gaining, 3 times more price in the market. It remains green even after cooking. So it is one of the substitute, for canning. And we have one more variety, in chickpea. For the first time, we have a high protein variety, Most of our chickpea varieties are having 18 to 20% protein, but this one is having about 26%, more than 26% protein. And besides that, it is having almost very similar yield as compared to other. $2057. This has really gained a ground, and this has become one of the ruling variety, almost, having a very good protein, very good seed size, almost resistant to mung bean yellow mosaic virus and powdery mildew. At the same time, it is suitable for cultivation, in a very large tract of the country where, mung bean is grown. I was talking about IPL 220. You will say, what is the new in that? This is a biofortified, variety having a very, not only very good in the protein, but it is having, high iron, zinc, and selenium content, and in mature in 100 days, and it still gives, 13 to 14 quintals of yield. We have another variety, chickpea. I was telling that this is giving about over 26% protein, and this we are trying to popularize, even in late zone area, we have seen it is doing very good, about 20 quintal yield, but that can be further maximized. And this is the one I was talking about, a green peas having productivity of more than 20 quintal, that yield. And that, it looks like just like green because it is the cross between, the vegetable pea and our field pea. So this goes very well, and now there is a very great demand. We are not able to cope up with its demand, but we will be able to feed it, in coming years. Now I was telling that we have come out with the hybrids, and hybrids are having, good yield superiority, and with the 120, 130 days, it can mature. Maximum, even if you take 150 days, it can give, 15 to 20 quintal. Average yield is 15 to 16 quintal that we get, in most of the trials. So it's not yield potential. Yield potential is about 24, 25 quintal. But in a trial, over the years, average is in a large area about 15 to 60 quintal. And this is about the one hybrid. This has come from Northwest Plain Zone, where we are thinking of substituting some of the rice, which is low yielding with the pigeon pea. And one of the major things that has happened over the period of time that in pulses, we used to have a very poor seed system. Our seed replacement was very poor. Then, our varietal replacement was very poor. And for that, we increased our breeder seed production because what you need is a good quantity of high quality breeder seed. And if you look at 13, 14, 17, 18, almost, we just made it, 2 times. So this has really helped us, to produce a large quantity of quality seeds. And that intervention we have taken, through a seed hub program, basically funded by, Government of India, DAC and Department of Agriculture, Cooperation, Farmer Welfare. And here again, if you see, almost 150,000 quintals of seeds, on average, we are producing last 3 years. And these seeds are going in demonstration and replacing, the old seeds. One thing has happened, earlier we used to have a variety. Variety was not a problem earlier also, but we never used to get, new variety penetrating into the seed system. But once there was a ceiling, that more than 10 years old variety will not give incentive. And then, this has really picked up. In many crops, you get a kind of very ideal kind of seed replacement like 73-79%, you know. So this has also helped us to increase, you know, our productivity. And one more thing, you know, 1 year we conducted about 33,000 demonstrations with the package technology in different crops. And if you see, a very large yield increase we got in most of the demonstrations. So this again further we upscaled it. We made it every year. Now it is done by the KVK. About 450 KVK they are taking in a different zone where pulses are predominantly grown. And these are the kind of policy initiative. I will say if the policy initiative would have been not in place, you know, today we could have not seen the situation that pulse moved to this stage. And the major, you know, of that is increasing MSP. And many times, you know, when the prices, you know, go below MSP, the government procures even at a higher price than the MSP at a market price. Creation of the seed hub, you know, is the another new interventions. Demonstration of the in a cluster mode, creating a buffer stock, and lot more things, you know, done. And almost every scheme, you know, converts to the pulses. So that is how, you know, the government took pulses, you know, given pulses at very top priority. That never happened in the past. That was one of the reasons that we have really moved. Now it comes that now we are also having a very similar, you know, a webcon here at our institute. And if you look at the major finding that has come in 2 days, if we have to go by the another jump of 5 million ton and then another 5 million ton, maybe in a long term, 10 years, then what we need is a breakthrough and in the yield. We need an increase in productivity at least 40-50%. For that, we need a technology. And this growth has to be technology driven. And one of the technology that we have in the hand is, you know, a genetically engineered, you know, insect resistance, both in case of chickpea and pigeon pea, because, you know, the gram pod borer is the main culprit. In a given season, you know, when the situation is optimal, it has potential to devastate the whole crop. So we have already trial and we are looking for a permission from Government of India so that, you know, we can take it to the field trial. And again, we have introduced another gene, what we call a transcription factor gene. And we also call it a DRAB. And this DRAB, once we introduce in chickpea, is able to produce, you know, a higher degree of, you know, a tolerance to the drought. Because the drought is number one culprit, you know, that minimize the yield, particularly most of the Rabi crops in rain-fed area. So this is the another technology we have, and we can, given a time, we can really do it. And yet another technology, you know, there is a root knot nematode. These nematodes, they make a gall. They make a very substantial loss in an area where, you know, these crops are grown in rain-fed. And we introduce, you know, a RNI technology, and with this RNI technology, we can get a transgenic where there is no gall formation. I mean, it's a kind of, you know, a immune system to a root knot nematode. So this is again a technology itself. And one more crop, you know, orphan crop, what we call grass pea. I can say with the confidence, if we are able to reintroduce grass pea and ban is lifted, this is the one crop that can bring, you know, the entire revolution. And whatever rice fallow area that we see, that can be a best candidate crop. And these crops growing, you know, is limited because of the what we call the BUA. We also call it ODUP. And because of this, you know, there is a neurotoxicity. And the Government of India, you know, has a ban on its utilization, its distribution and trade. And we have identified a gene, what we call ODUP A synthase gene. And now using a CRISPR technology, you know, gene editing, we are trying to get a real zero ODUP, you know, variety. And perhaps that will be a time, you know, when we can reintroduce ODUP. We are also doing a genome editing in chickpea. You know, there is a negative correlation when we try to, you know, increase the yield, and particularly the seed number, seed size decreases. So we have a, you know, there is a negative regulation of the seed size. So now by using a CRISPR technology, gene editing technology, we are able to modify it. We can have, you know, increase the seed size. At the same time, we can have a grain number as well. So this will ultimately increase, the productivity, which is one of the limiting factor, in chickpea. Now, globally, if you look at different institute in India, they are having, these GM product, at a different level. Whether it is our institute, it is in New Delhi, National Institute on Biotechnology, Assam Agriculture University, AgriSet. Now, what we have decided that we can go together with the one event selection trial. So now the ICR is starting a All India coordinated program. Perhaps it will get a boost. It is not that, globally we are not consuming. Now Nigeria, now this is the cowpea pod borer resistant, BT, the variety is released. And at the same time, in common bean again, for a golden bean mosaic virus, Brazil, now it is under cultivation. So now these are the reality. It's not that, nobody is growing. And, over the period of time, there is a technology, what we call the, the genomics. And the number of crops, now we have got a draft genome sequence, and this gives precisely, where the gene is located in the chromosome. So what we can do by using this particular technology, that we will be able to make very precise selection of the trait of the choice. And very quickly, we can minimize time, we can minimize, the requirement of the land and resources. So very quickly, we can develop a variety. So we are now gear up for these also. Now there are published informations. And at the same time, we are looking for a pan genome and super pan genome, which can grow, across crop, and we can look for a marker across the crop, and that can be utilized. Similarly, very recently, this chickpea was earlier, a major crop in Northwest Plain Zone, Haryana, Punjab, Western Uttar Pradesh. But with the increase in salinity level, more growing wheat and rice, now this crop has become very sensitive. We are able to identify, a QTL for salinity stress, and we are in process, to transfer this particular gene, most of the variety in that particular region. And we do hope in a couple of years or so, we'll come out with the mass product that will give a better choice, to the farmer to rehabilitate chickpea Northwest Plain Zone of the country. And very recently now we are able to develop the mass product, a product coming out with the new technology, what we call marker assisted selection, whether it is the wilt resistant, drought tolerant. And now we are again coming with the product which is having a combined, drought and wilt resistance. So this has happened, in chickpea. Now these products are available, for growing to the farmers. And in other crops also, we are in the way.
Dr. Sir, I'm sorry, 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, I will finish.
Thank you.
And, the pigeon pea, we are striving to increase the productivity, being a mainly indigenous crop. We have come out with the hybrid, having a different male sterility system, and we are trying to diversify. And the hybrid, I told a few hybrids that we have got, we are looking for partners who can produce the seeds. YMB used to be a problem, now we have got a kind of, now everybody knows about real-time PCR, in Corona pandemic. We already have this technology, and we can identify virus, to a different level. We are finding, getting a patent for that. And we are again doing, speed breeding. In 1 year, we can grow, 6 to 7 crops. So we can have very quickly development of the variety. And we have digitalized the whole program. By digitalizing, we can have the pedigree information, and it can really, reduce the material and time in development of the variety. And what we are looking, in the country, that we have a food security, we are looking for a nutritional security. For that, we need, our target is, we should be self-sufficient in pulses. For that, we needed 30 million tons by 2030 and 39 million tons, I just said, by 2050. For that, we need a productivity increase, though there is a very less chance for area expansion, but still substitution can go on. As I'm saying that we are looking in Haryana, Punjab, and Western Uttar Pradesh to integrate, the legumes. Biofortification, we feel that value addition, fortification, post-harvest management is critical. Unless we develop a value chain, these crops will be difficult to push up. This is all I wanted to share. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to speak. some of the things, what we are looking, in the future, a new technology to quickly develop a variety. And this is all, for today. Thank you very much.